Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Good evening.
So great to see everyone for this great event.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Justin, the Justin Brash. How are you?
I'm doing terrific. I'm so happy to be here with everyone. As we all know, we had the Secretary of Education in the city of White Plains. We're here celebrating all the volunteers and everybody who helps our Youth Bureau get and do the things that we do. My daughter is even a tutor for the Youth Bureau, but she's doing homework, so she cannot join us. I'm so sad because it's fun when I have my kids with me, but she's such a dedicated student that she can't have fun with us.
Well, Justin, thank you. I know the mayor's here. We're going to get started because I know the time is tight. Let me just welcome everyone here to the City of White Plains recognition of National Volunteer Service Week month. And of course, here in White Plains, we have so many volunteers who help to shape, to improve our community by giving our young people help and support. We all know about COVID Angels. We know about our Police Reform Committee. We know about grandpas and mentors and coaches and tutors, everyone who pour into our community to help make White Plains a great city. We have a little video we're going to start, and following the video, we're going to have words of greetings by Mayor Roach, and then we'll have words of greetings by Justin, and then Andrea Stewart Cousins, and Shelley Mayer, and then Bobna, and then we want to hear from you too. White Plains is great because all of you, Heather Miller, and Jan Mazak, and Charles Goldberger, our grandpas, Wayne Elliott, all of us give back to the community. And because you give back, you make a difference. So we're gonna start with our video and enjoy this small piece of video that our staff put together.
Yes.
Sorry, I can't open it like that. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm on the Zoom. Oh, it's Port Royal Landing.
So thank you all for seeing that snapshot of efforts of community members helping to make a difference at Slater Center, at the Youth Bureau, at the hospital, with Meals on Wheels, with boards and commissions, at Grace Church, throughout our community. We are I love White Plains because of the community. It is a spirit of service. It's a spirit of help, the spirit of caring. We're helping to make our city even better, higher, and it's because of all of you and others that we live in a city where people care and give back to our community. So I'm honored to, I see Commissioner Wayne Bass is here, but I'm going to ask Mayor Roach to say a few words and acknowledge the significant contributions a whole army of volunteers give back to make White Plains a great city. Mayor Roach.
Well, thank you, Frank, and Frank, thank you for putting this together. I mean, this is a city that today the Secretary of Education described our school district as collaborative, working together, and that's basically the theme of our city. We work together to solve problems, and I know we have a combination of volunteers. I read the list. It's an all-star of people who are doing various things for our city. Most recently with COVID, we had a lot of things happening. I so much want to start calling people out, but if I do, I will leave out 98%, and that's not a good equation. But look at yourselves, click around and see all the people that have worked hard for us over the years to make this a better place to live. It warms your heart, and it really, this is what makes White Plains, is this type of thing. So Frank, thanks for setting it up. I'm looking forward to participating in it tonight. And with that, I think if I recall my schedule, I will toss it to Councilman Justin Brash.
Justin?
Good evening, everyone. It's my honor and privilege to be here. Thank you, Mayor Roach. And I want to say I agree with Mayor Roach that we do a great job of bringing everybody together and working together. And that's one of the greatest things in our city is our Youth Bureau, because we bring everyone together. We don't care where you're from or who you are. We are a family and we are here to help you. If you want to learn STEAM or STEM, or you need a summer camp, or you want to learn how to box, or you want to learn how to cook, or you need SAT prep or Taekwondo lessons, we are here. We can even teach you how to fly a plane. We have 2 flight simulators. We have grandpas that will be your mentor and that will teach you. As I was saying before, even my daughter volunteers as a tutor. So we are all thrilled to be here, and we're all grateful for all the volunteers and all the people who help in our city in so many different ways. But as a councilman and the chair of the Youth Bureau, I always like to take an opportunity to thank the staff of the Youth Bureau and people like Frank Williams and Bhavna and Gina and Byron and everyone. These people work around the clock. They do not have a 9-to-5 job. They work 24/7 for all of us to make sure our youth are on the right path, doing great things, and have incredible opportunities. So thank you to everyone. I'll keep it short, and I'm very appreciative, and I love working with all of you. This is one of the highlights of my whole life.
Thank you, Justin. And again, thank you, Mayor Roach. And I'm looking at Peter Herrera's photo. And last year, he was such a great help with providing his truck to bring food from Feeding Westchester. I'm sending him a big shout out. Thank you, Peter, for all you do and for being a shining star in our community. We're going to have words now, Bhavna, from Senator Andrea Stewart-Cousin. And then following Andrea, we hope to have Senator Shelley Mayer.
Okay. So Frank, while I show the video, if you could just let people in because they're coming in. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Senate Majority Leader Andrea Stewart-Cousin. It's National Volunteer Recognition Month, but we shouldn't need a month to honor our volunteers. We should be showing them our gratitude as often as possible. This is why I'm pleased to be joining the City of White Plains and Mayor Tom Roach to thank all the volunteers who are helping our community through this pandemic. Volunteers who are distributing food to homebound seniors through Meals on Wheels of White Plains, an invaluable lifeline. Volunteers who are grocery shopping for their elderly neighbors and making sure families impacted by COVID-19 have food. And some volunteers are donating food to local food banks, while others are serving as COVID angels, giving up their time to secure appointments for seniors so seniors can get the vaccine. These angels are just that, securing life-saving vaccines for over 5,000 people, mostly seniors. Thank you to Supervisor Finer's office for setting up this program. And thank you to the residents who are giving back. I've seen firsthand the role volunteers have played during this pandemic, watching Feeding Westchester's work at the Post Road School and visiting our pop-up vaccine clinics. The need is unprecedented right now. And while the government offers relief for the homeless, food insecure, and low-income and immigrant communities, we're so fortunate to have our volunteers helping to fill the gaps. You all speak to the kind of community we have in White Plains, one which helps their neighbor when in need. I'm so proud to represent White Plains in the State Senate and celebrate our volunteers, not just this month, but whenever we can. Thank you for your hard work and selfless dedication to making the city of White Plains a better place to live for all.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you, Senator Andrea Stewart-Cousins, for those really warm words. And her words are really very true. White Plains is a great city because of the hands and hearts of all of our volunteers, young and old. At this time, we want to have words of welcome and greeting from Senator Shelley Mayer.
Hello, Frank, and it's a pleasure to be here. It really is an honor. I am very fortunate to share White Plains, as I get to say, with the majority leader, but White Plains is a very special place in my heart as a former resident for a long time. And one thing that we saw during COVID is we have our volunteers who are always there, and then we had the volunteers who were extra there. The volunteers who really saw how hard this year was for so many of our neighbors and jumped into service and got something really strong back, which was the feeling of value and merit and of really helping people during the toughest time. So I'm glad we're recognizing the volunteers tonight. I just, in my heart, I have this warm feeling because I know that stepping up during this tough year required additional courage that other people didn't have. Volunteers had it, willing to put themselves really in harm's way in a way that volunteers traditionally didn't have to do. And people did it out of caring for their community, caring for White Plains as a beautiful, caring community. So thank you to all of you who have done so, to all of you who have fed people and taken care and helped get vaccines and get masks, driven people, taken people to doctor's appointments, taken care of our seniors and homebound, as well as our kids who I'm always worried about. Thank you to everyone for doing it. And thank you, Frank, for scheduling this beautiful night to celebrate those who have really put other people first during this tough year. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. We appreciate you. Thank you for your hard work. And thank you for all of your efforts helping to make White Plains truly a great city. We're going to have words from my deputy, my really great deputy director, Dr. Bob Napawa. And, you know, we run a lot of programs. The mayor knows that we have at least 60 programs, and we keep steering this ship. We work really hard, and Justin mentioned that we work tirelessly to help our children, youth, and families to get the services that they need. And it's because of all of you that we're here tonight. So Bobna, would you give words of acknowledgement to our youth development staff, our partners, the rec department, and others as well?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Frank. I just want to echo what a lot of people preceding me have already said. You know, we couldn't do the work here that we do at the Youth Bureau without the support of our wonderful volunteers. And as you'll see today, over the past year, we've had more than 200 people volunteer their very, very valuable time to the work that the Youth Bureau does. And we couldn't do any of it without your support and your continued support, whether it's from providing fitness programming, nutrition education, to mentoring. We have a number of people who have taken young people under their wings and have served as mentors, not just for a few months, but for years, and stay with them many times from a very young elementary age all the way till the time that they graduate from high school. They take them on field trips. Our volunteers come and help with food drives and toy drives, with all kinds of activities that we do. When we hold our festivals, they're there to help us out. With just about anything, they're ready to roll up their sleeves and go to work. So on behalf of Frank and all of our staff here at the Youth Bureau, which I just want to say thank you so much for all that you do for the Youth Bureau.
Thank you, Dr. Power. We're going to roll. We have a roll of thank you to our volunteers. As Dr. Power sets that up, I'm going to call on Commissioner Wayne Bass to say a few words because he has an army of volunteers with the rec department. We're going to ask Commissioner Bass to say a few words on behalf of the rec department to thank the volunteers under his efforts. Commissioner Bass.
Hey, Frank, thank you for putting this together. Volunteers are a very valuable resource to our department. And I'm just happy to be here tonight to recognize and honor all of the volunteers. You know, they sacrifice their time, their energy, and their knowledge they share with us. So the members of the Rec Advisory Committee, all of our volunteer youth sports coaches in hockey, basketball, flag football, soccer. We have volunteers at the Senior Center, and our special events would not be special or so special without those volunteers. So I just want to thank everybody that gives of themselves to the city of White Plains.
Thank you, Commissioner Bass. We appreciate that. And our rec department is one of the leading rec departments in the state. They've gotten a lot of awards, and we thank Commissioner Bass and all of the volunteers for helping to provide wonderful recreational out-of-school camp programs and activities for our kids. As you all know, looking out in our nation with all of the concerns that we have going on with police, we're at the crossroads. And I want to say that here in White Plains, I think we have it. We under the mayor's leadership, we put forth a police reform committee, and I'm going to ask Chief Castelli if he could say a few words. And if Janice is there, she can say a few words too about the efforts we're mobilizing here in White Plains to keep White Plains healthy and safe and community oriented. So Chief Castelli, if you could say a few words, we'd appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Frank, and good evening, everybody. So, yeah, you know, the committee operated from September through March. There was 24 of us, and it truly was a collaborative effort. And in terms of volunteering, you know, a lot of us, all of us gave up our time and our efforts. We had meetings upon meetings, and not to sound, they were not ever burdensome. They were all necessary and for the worthwhile cause. We certainly had meetings during lunchtimes and at night, on weekends. We were in offices and our cars and our homes, and while we were away and traveling, and it was very good to see that people did not forgo their commitment to this, even though there may have been other things in life going on. So it was a great experience. We didn't always agree on everything, but we all had the same purpose of trying to make the bonds between police and community stronger, and to continue to build on trust and accountability. I certainly can't name everybody on the committee without a list, but I don't think any of us did it for a claim or anything like that. Not that I don't think we all appreciate the recognition by the Youth Bureau and the volunteer program that you have. I would like to just note two quick people. I know Janice is here, Janice Griffith, who is our chair, and Karen Pasquale, who was the facilitator. For all the meetings and everything else that we were all on, and all the collaborations that we made, I'm sure that they had other countless hours planning and coordinating and consulting with each other to ensure a smooth committee. So from that standpoint, I think a lot of good came out of the recommendations for reform. We are in the process of putting the I don't know if easier is the right word, but the easier ones to put into place right away, and we have longer term plans to put in some of the other recommendations. But it may be a process. But again, it was it's all worthwhile. I certainly learned a lot. Um, and again, just just to finish up, Frank, certainly as a member of that committee too, I think you deserve some recognition, and along with your work with the Youth Bureau and all your staff, because as I believe the mayor said, it's a 24-hour operation. I know you guys only don't do your job, but you volunteer much of your efforts and time all the time. So from that standpoint also, good work by you. So thank you very much for inviting me today.
Thank you, and thank you. And I want to just acknowledge Karen Pasquale. She's a dynamo, and I want to just acknowledge her leadership, not only just in this police reform committee, but everything that she does to help to make White Plains a great city. She is the senior advisor for Mayor Roach, and I just want to give her a shout out. But I would ask Janice to say a few words if she could, she helped to pull a wagon with this police reform committee. Janice, is there anything you'd like to say in terms of the volunteerism on behalf of the police reform committee?
I just want to say that thank you for having this event. It's wonderful. It feels good to be recognized for the work that we did, because it was a committee of about 23, 24 people, and we did work nonstop. Chief Costelli said it best, we were working around the clock, Sundays, Saturdays, lunchtime, dinner times. Karen was amazing. The amount of time that she gave to this committee, I can't thank her enough, but we all worked and we gave of ourselves, and it was worth it. It was worth it. And I think we came up with a good report. We all gave 110% to this commitment. And we had the help of the mayor, his guidance, and it was wonderful. Everybody was so good. The chief of police, the captain, the whole police force just gave of themselves so easily, so readily. There was never a time when we didn't have a question for them that they were not there for us. They really stepped up, and it was wonderful, so it felt good, but we worked. It was hard. It was hard. We did, but it was so worth it. So thank you for recognizing us and the work that we did.
Thank you, Janice, and thank you, Chief. Well, I want to acknowledge now Jill Ionetta from the mayor's office. We had a significant food distribution program last summer, and it was coordinated throughout the city. Jill, are you there? Jill? All right, Jill may not be on. I'm going to ask Peter. I did give Peter a shout out. I'm assuming Peter is still. Peter, would you say any, and then I'll go from Peter to Heather Miller. Peter, any words of acknowledgement from the work that has been done and still being done to make sure that people have food to eat?
I can only tell you what a pleasure and honor it was to work with the city, Grace Church, my boss, Michael Hefner at Grace Church. We are a great city. We really are. The days that I worked with all of you, I was part of the solution. I wasn't part of the problem. And in society today, focuses so much on what we're doing wrong. And you all are doing so much right here at home. And me and my 21-year-old truck that didn't start every morning. Thank you. All I can tell you is I couldn't be more honored, honored and pleasured to have been part of the city of White Plains, the mayor's initiative, working with Jill, working with you, Wayne, working with Grace Church. You guys are great. That's all I got to say. Sorry.
All right, thank you, Peter. Heather Miller, who runs a center that now is the Center of Food Distribution in the city of White Plains. Heather, we'd love to hear your thoughts and to congratulate you and all of the volunteers with the food the Ecumenical Food Pantry. Thank you for your service and leadership during this very difficult time over the last year with the coronavirus challenges we had.
Thanks, Frank. And Peter, you were outstanding. When I say outstanding, listen. Standing ovation to Peter. Anyway, Frank, thank you for doing this and giving us the opportunity to thank our volunteers. And these are volunteers. I mean, that's the meaning of volunteer, but these volunteers ask nothing for themselves and they give at the drop of a hat. We had a father and daughter team. We had a father and son team. We had seniors, we had youth. They came for food distribution at the height of the pandemic. They came to lead reading groups when George Floyd happened, and we had to read the undoing, how to be a non-racist. They led reading workshops with that. Our youth and others assisted with the food pantry and our senior programs. To them, I say thank you, thank you, thank you, and a standing ovation from me again to all of you. Thanks so much, and thank you, Frank.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you. And we're just acknowledging people in the community, the agencies, the partners for all of their good work. And I'd ask Cynthia Rubino from the YMCA if she could acknowledge the many volunteers under her leadership who give back to the YMCA and to our community to make a difference in the lives of our children, youth, and family.
Hi, everybody. I'm sorry, where'd I go? Here I am. Thanks so much for putting this on tonight, Frank, and the Youth Bureau in the city. We could not do it without you as well. We went through a very interesting year in 2020, served a lot of people, reinvented ourselves. And we did that through the hard work of all of those names that are coming up right there now that you see. Great timing. Thank you to the zoning board, planning board, architecture review board, some other of our great volunteers.
Thank you, Cynthia. And thank you for what you're doing to kind of help us to make sure that our young people have a home in the YMCA here in White Plains. And we appreciate your efforts. We appreciate your leadership for many, many years, over decades, in fact. So thank you so very much. As you all know, we have a significant grandpa program. And some of our grandpas are here tonight, and our grandpas has gotten a number of awards, and they are just helping our young people. And we would to have Jim Eisenberg, if he would say a few words on behalf of our Grandpa United group.
Yeah, I just want to thanks for including the grandpas, and Frank, this is terrific. It's great to see all the just wonderful community people and leaders who have made a difference in the last year as volunteers. I would say for the grandpas, we have a terrific group of, we keep saying not grumpy old guys, and appreciate the support of the mayor and Justin Brash. And we want to continue to be involved in mentoring. We've had, many of us have been involved with the youth court throughout the last year, working with young people to make sure they don't get involved anymore in any kind of juvenile justice system. And that's been very, very positive. And we've just had a whole range of involvement of grandpas with the schools. And we just appreciate the opportunity to be part of a community that we all love, and to be involved tonight and recognized as part of the great impetus of the volunteerism within our city of White Plains. So thank you to everyone for your support.
And thank you, Jim, and thank all of our grandpas for your contribution and your impact on our children and on our families. As you know, during the holiday season, it can be a very difficult time for our children. We have so many children who stand in need, but we have a faithful community of people who donate to the lives of our children during Thanksgiving and during the Christmas season. I'm going to ask George Canis. George, say a few words. George has been one of the founding members of our Friends of the Youth Board, but he has such a caring heart. His sons came through the Youth Bureau, and he's still connected with us. So I just want to give George and the Heal Our Neighborhood Association a big shout out. And George, if you could just acknowledge the volunteers that you work with to help our young people in the city feel worthy and valued.
I don't see George here, Frank.
Okay, he's not there. Is anyone from the Heal Our Neighborhood Association there? If not, again, I want to just acknowledge George and those residents from the Heal Our Neighborhood Association for their support. We've already heard about the
Frank, I think Gail is on.
Oh, Gail, all right. Well, Gail, hey, Gail, how are you?
Gail, if you're on, unmute yourself.
Is that Gail Altscher?
Jasmine. Gail
Jasmine.
Gail Jasmine. Okay.
Gail?
I do not see her. Mm-mm.
Okay.
She may have left.
Well, well, again, I just want to say thank you to Gail and to the Heal Our Neighborhood Association for their support, for their contributions, and for everything that they do to kind of support our efforts on this National Volunteer Recognition Day. We talked about the COVID Angels, and I don't know if anyone is from CY or Sunshine Pharmacy is here, but we'd like to acknowledge about 100 volunteers with our COVID Angels program. So is CY here? If not, I'm going to ask Gina.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Hi, Frank. Yeah, so this is Parag Kulkarni from
Hey,
Seva.
Parag, yeah.
So thank you so much for the opportunity. For those of you who do not know about Seva, we are a Hindu faith-based non-for-profit humanitarian organization. We are in 20 plus countries and over 31 states in the US, about 5,000 volunteers in US. We are primarily engaged in disaster relief, local community support, and child and family welfare. So some of the examples of the disaster relief programs we have done in the US includes Hurricane Harvey rehab, California wildfire rehab, and most recently COVID-19. So COVID-19, when the pandemic started, Seva opened 8 helplines across the US for anybody who need help. You know, it could be a senior elderly person who just didn't feel safe to go out for getting groceries, or a student stuck from international student stuck here, couldn't go back and needed some support for maybe boarding or some money. So we also raised donations and distributed the mask and PPE around in Westchester and New York City. So I think enough about Seva. I really want to thank you, Mayor Roach and White Plains Youth Bureau for trusting in us to help with the White Plains COVID Angels initiative. First of all, really thanks for offering this to the White Plains community and the neighboring community. We all know we really needed this. And I cannot thank you enough to all the volunteers who are part of the White Plains COVID Angels. Without the volunteers, we couldn't really do this. I mean, you guys are really impressive. You went above and beyond. It's not just about booking an appointment. Some of you offered rides to the seniors to the appointments. Somebody booked, Uber on behalf of the seniors who couldn't really afford their own ride. And we all the feedback that we have received from hundreds of the seniors, it's nothing but all 5 stars and words of gratitude for all the volunteers who helped obtain appointments or even spoke with the seniors. So a big thank you for all COVID Angels volunteers. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Farah. Thank you so much. I want to acknowledge the White Plains School District Board of Education President, Rosemarie Eller. Rosemarie, are you here? Rosemarie?
I did not see her, Frank.
You did not? All right, then I'm going to act, one of the great things about our city in terms of the many young people we have tremendous resources. And one of the resources that we have is the dynamic mentoring program, and Sheila Foley coordinates our mentoring. We're going to ask Sheila to acknowledge all of the mentors under her watch, and following that, we're going to have my friend, Brother Darrell Kidd, say something about the volunteer efforts of my fraternity, the Omega Psi Phi fraternity.
So Frank, do you just want me to thank the mentors?
You can acknowledge your volunteers, Sheila. Yes, you can thank them. You can say whatever. You can talk a little bit about their efforts. Yes.
All right, so I'll thank you to the community-based mentors who work with their young people one-on-one and on their own time. They pick the day and time. And then also the Young Mentoring Group, which is a group of 10 young men who are former Youth Bureau male students who have come back now as professionals in their career, and they volunteer on Tuesday nights to work with minority boys in White Plains. And they do weekly stuff. We used to have dinner together. Now with COVID, we just meet online and talk about what we need to talk about and then do activities together. So they full circle, they've come back to volunteer with young people in White Plains. So thank you to both groups and the tutors that I also recommended who volunteer with kids and do homework help.
And I would say anyone you know who wants to give back, who wants to be a mentor or a tutor, we have lots of young people who could benefit from your support. Now we'll hear from Darrell Kidd and the Omegas and their support, their investment, their mentorship with our young men. All right, is there any other Omega who's available? Would like, Brother Sam Washington, would you like to come in?
Sure. It's a pleasure. I know that the women do their fellowship on the 3rd. Sure, it's a pleasure to be here. And the work we do for Omega, again, it's just like everybody else saying, this is just the work that has to get done. We don't do this to be self-seeking and we acknowledge you, Frank, for pointing out all the things that people are doing. But this is just the work that needs to be done from a time long ago where community was a community, and we just helped each other because that was the need. And that's what we do as Omega. We see a need and we try to fill that gap, just like everybody here. So I just want to thank you for acknowledging us and all the other volunteer work, because this is the thing that makes a community what it is. Okay, all these little bits and pieces coming together, people giving selflessly and coming out to just do the job that needs to be, somebody has to be willing to do the work. And I just thank you for recognizing us and the Beta Alpha Alpha chapter of the Omega Psi Phi fraternity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brother Sam. I'm going to ask Grace Church. I know I saw Wayne Elliott, but I don't know if Michael is there. If they want to say something about the work that's going on right now, helping to feed those who stand in need for food.
I am here.
Okay.
Frank, thank you for hosting this. This is a tremendous demonstration of our appreciation for all of our volunteers. I happily submitted about 75 names for this list here, and I can't tell you, how grateful I am that that they've made our mission a success. We didn't exist before the pandemic, and we really just had to respond to the need of our community as the economy went into a lockdown. And I have to say that I'm so proud that we can say it's been almost 14 months that we've been doing this, and with the support of the mayor's office and everybody from White Plains, people like Peter Herrero. But again, without the support of these volunteers, this wouldn't work. So there's something divine in what's happening here. I want to say that what's also tremendous is that we've been able to attract other volunteers from different communities. So people from Scarsdale, like the volunteers from St. James and Les, people from Bronxville, from Christ Church Bronxville, people from the Life Church in White Plains, people from the Hebrew congregation in Somers. So it's been tremendous. We're grateful for what we've been able to do, and I thank you for recognizing these volunteers.
Thank you, Michael. And again, we thank you for your work. That work is going on, is ongoing. You're helping to keep our children, our families healthy, and that's what the food that has been given to our children, youth, and families over the last year has kept our families healthy and safe. And thank you for your labor of love. We're going to open this up to everybody. I'd like to have someone from the school district. I'm not sure if anyone is here. I think Jesse, I'm not sure if anybody from the school district. Otherwise, we'll just have anyone who wants to weigh in and comment, just say a few words about the efforts that you're involved with on this National Volunteer Recognition Day. Any other community partner would like to say a few words? I definitely want to acknowledge the Friends of the Youth Bureau. They raise monies to help to fund our youth programs. And I'm not sure if the board members, I know that we have youth board members here too, and they're members who serve on the city boards and commissions. We want to acknowledge you as well. We thank you. And we look forward to continuing this effort of giving back to make sure that our city is healthy and safe, that that we take White Plains to higher heights, and we invest in continuing this journey to create opportunities and pathways for everyone, so that White Plains is not only a premier city, but also a shining light, a beacon here in the city of White Plains, but also in New York State. Just welcome any other comments from anybody as we are about to come to a close on this evening.
Frank, let me just chime in as a final. So,
Okay.
Frank, thank you for putting this together. Thank you for being a volunteer on so many of the different groups that we're seeing tonight. I look around this screen and I see so many friends, and I know what you did. And again, I'm sorry I can't thank you all. What I will say is this: how about the new tradition is starting next year in person in a group where we can just talk to each other, learn what everyone's up to, and I could walk around and thank each of you individually, because you've done wonderful things and you continue to do wonderful things to make this great city. And maybe we can have it if Wayne Bass finally gets his pavilion at Delfino Park. We can have it there and celebrate. But so I hope to see you all in person next year. I hope to see all of you soon. But thank you all for everything that you've done. And I feel anxiety that I'm not able to just thank each one of you personally right now. But next year in person, I'll be able to.
Thank you, Mayor Roach, and thanks all of you again, and good night. And again, happy Earth Day. Let's protect our Earth. Let's make sure our water is healthy and clean, and just continue to serve humanity. Thank you so very much, and good night.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks. Take care, everyone.
Night, everyone.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Thank you so much.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
All right.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.